Welcome back, Buffs. I'm your anchor, Savannah Jarman, and today we'll be going over the new gaming concept class and giving you an update on how all senior events will be going down this year. But first, an update on the Albert Wilson case. Back in 2019, we did a story about Albert Wilson, who was a former Southeast student who was convicted of rape while at KU. People had many complaints about the case, and have been trying to get him a new trial for years. On March 16th, Wilson was granted a new trial and is now out of prison. We spoke to his former teacher, Miss Saar, on her reaction to this news.
I kept my fingers crossed. I said many prayers about it. I know that the pandemic has really clogged the court system, has slowed down the process. It seemed like it took a really long time, but I held out hope that he would be given that opportunity.
Wilson's next court date will be May 13th. We'll give you updates as soon as we get them. On March 8th, 6 out of 6 Board of Education members voted to allow students to come back to face-to-face learning for the final semester.
They've still left the option for kids to choose if they want to stay home, they can and learn.
You know, when things are starting to get back to normal, some normalcy, it's good for everybody.
I feel it's unnecessary, and I think we still need the remote Wednesdays. There was a lot of help.
I feel like the 5 days a week is really necessary. Like, just because we got a COVID vaccine, don't mean we got to be coming back 5 days a week.
As the end of the year approaches, many major events are going to come up for seniors, and many of you are asking, how are these senior events going to look like during the pandemic? Well, reporter Christina has us all an update.
The class of 2020 had their senior year cut short. They missed two of the most important events of their senior year, prom and graduation. Many of the seniors this year were worried that they would experience the same thing.
You know, last year they didn't really have their graduation in person, so I was kind of worried this year.
I was definitely very worried that we would have to go through the same stuff that the class of 2020 had to go through last year.
At the beginning of the year, homecoming was canceled as well as the spirit assembly, so nothing was set in stone regarding prom and graduation.
The school doesn't decide that. It comes from the secondary office at AMAC, and so the assistant superintendent and those guys, they make that decision.
After spending most of their senior year remote, seniors will finally have the opportunity to experience prom as well as walking at graduation.
We have plans in place to actually have as close to a traditional graduation as possible at the normal venues. So Coke Arena and Century 2 being the two predominant locations that we use. We have some other ones for some of our smaller schools. We've already gave the A-OK for prom to take place at all of our high schools. The only caveat being that prom will have to be on site this year.
As many decisions are left up to the host site, administration is still working out the little details.
As far as the guidelines and criteria, they haven't shared that with us, as in like the capacity and so forth.
When the school announced plans for prom and graduation, the seniors were excited.
Maybe we're gonna have one. Maybe we are gonna have that last memory, since we couldn't have others.
I was very excited for those people who wanted to go to prom because that's a very special event for us. And for graduation, that's pretty cool because walking across that stage feels really good.
While many things are constantly changing, the class of 2021 are hopeful that everything goes as planned. For BTV, I'm Christina Tran.
During this pandemic, we have all had to keep safe and clean. The custodians here at Southeast have played a big part in keeping our school clean. Here's reporter Aiden Briere on what our custodians have to do in this new environment.
Students going back to school have had to face challenges in order to avoid getting COVID, but custodians have faced problems as well.
Just trying to keep everybody safe and not get the COVID ourselves, and trying to get into whatever rooms that may have been exposed and get those cleaned in a proper manner.
Most of their job is the same as it was before, except they do it more often.
You know, we used to just do a deep clean in the evening time and, you know, just kind of maintain during the daytime, but now there's more cleaning during the day as well.
However, the staff has been given a new tool to combat the virus.
This is one of the cleaning tools that we have now that is called electrostatic sprayer. I can't really show you exactly how it works because there's a warning that says do not use in the presence of others. But it's a cleaning tool that we use each and every night in every classroom, in the hallways. I can spray a mist in the air, and I don't have to spray it directly on the table, but it also, since it's electrostatic, it even gets up under here, it gets on the bar, it gets down there. So it does a very good job of spraying the chemical out to disinfect the whole entire classroom, hallways, restrooms, any area that we're in.
The janitorial staff does a lot of cleaning to make sure the school is safe. But do the students know and appreciate what they do, especially now during this pandemic?
I definitely notice the work that they do. They keep our rooms clean and safe for us, yes.
I always try to clean up after myself because, I'd like to make their job at least a little bit easier, and I feel like we should help them out a lot more because, there's not as many of them as there is us, obviously, and they got to clean up the whole school.
I believe now that they see the custodial job is very important around the building to keep everybody safe.
I believe so. Most of us teachers and staff do appreciate it, but I don't think they really honestly know how much we got to go through now that we have to clean up for the COVID.
Be sure to thank the janitors for all they do in these trying times and clean up after yourselves to minimize their workload. This is Adam Briere, BTV.
I really hope Mr. Andrews' class hasn't caused too much of a mess for the custodians this week, because you may have noticed that there's a car parked inside the tech wing. Reporter Evan Togg shows us what that's all about.
For those of you that enjoy cars, the purr of a V8 can be just alluring. And Mr. Andrews has been cooking up something since the start of this semester.
The car is a 1988 Ford Mustang convertible. It is a GT, would have had a V8, and it would have been around a time where they were doing a lot of emissions on cars, so it would have been underpowered. We hope to change that.
Mr. Andrews has been working on it with his class and with students after hours on remote Wednesdays.
Obviously, we're doing the engine, but we're going to do the coolant or radiator part of it is all getting replaced. So we're all going back with new parts. We also have some new parts that we're putting in that weren't available when the car was built, like your coilover suspension and some of the racing technology that's out there that we're able to put into this car. It's going to ride and handle a lot better when it's back on the ground.
This is a great project for students that could use the experience of maintaining a car not only for practicality, but even a future career.
My favorite part about working on the car is actually getting my hands dirty, because then you're actually understanding how to use all the tools that you need to use and that what tools are for what job and where parts go and how to take it apart.
Less about just the academic part of things, but here we get to socialize and joke around while taking things apart for our class.
And my biggest joy is being able to give my experiences and my knowledge to younger people so that they can go use them and be successful themselves.
Start something and finish it correctly, but taking my time while doing it and learning new things that I haven't learned personally.
With another project on the books for next year, maybe you might enjoy enrolling in the Hand and Power Tools class. For BTV, I'm Evan Tong.
Video games have always been popular among students, and now here at Southeast there's a class for those who want to pursue them as a career.
So Gaming Concepts is all about video games, and that means more than just we play video games. It means we talk about the implications for mental and physical health. We talk about advocating for esports and trying to really change the perception of how video games are viewed in our society as a whole, and in education as well.
The class has become a student favorite, with over 200 students trying to enroll in the class for next year.
Everyone plays games, and well, since we're having a class for it now, people actually, enjoy it. People have time to play games in school and relax a little bit, have a class where you could, sit back, have fun.
Students enjoy the ease of the class, and they get to have fun while earning class credit.
This is probably one of the better classes to take. It is easy to pass, not hard to fail at all. Unless if you're doing what you're supposed to do, you're gonna pass no matter what. So, and yeah, and Ms. Schoenhofer's a great teacher, so you'll have lots of fun with her.
You can't really fail this class as long as you just participate, and well, it's just for fun.
This year, the district has put more focus on student interests and is changing up classes in order to fit those interests.
The district is showing an initiative to make changes for what kids are interested in. So instead of sticking in their same old ways and the same way that things should be done in schools, they're realizing that today's generation is a little bit different, and they have different desires, different wants, different interests, and we shouldn't fight those interests.
For BTV, I'm Donovan Powell.
Like many electives, sculpture has had to find very creative ways on how to teach students both online and in person. New reporter Skylar Kovali takes us inside Miss Nagel's room.
Our lightest green is going to be the green that doesn't have any brown in it.
Southeast High School is home to a variety of art classes. One particular class of interest is sculpture. Taught by Miss Nagel, sculpture focuses on creating 3D art using anything that is available.
We make things out of paper. We make things out of polymer clay. We carve soap. We carve Sculpey. We build figurines with Sculpey.
At this time, however, students are now currently heading back on site, where they will now be able to do more things than they could at home.
At home, this class would be hard. I don't really know that I would have any motivation to do it at all, but it's fun in person because it's easier to bounce ideas off of people when I can actually talk to them face to face.
Even though there are students back at the building, there are still students at home for the ongoing hybrid schedule, causing problems with the class.
I've had to sacrifice studio time. Normally, a sculpture studio is a buzzing place with people helping each other and trying new things.
It's a little hard because you don't have a teacher there to exactly show you what to do, so just learning how to do it through the computer, you just have to try your best.
During this time, solutions were being made in order to make sure all students get the same learning experience.
So I've shifted to doing a lot more demo style work where I have the camera to where the kids can see and I talk to them and we talk about the sculpture as it goes.
Although there were challenges with the hybrid schedule, it also became its own learning experience.
I think that I have learned a lot and become a better teacher from the experience, and I cannot wait until it's over.
For BTV, this is Skylar Kovali.
We call it an armature.
On March 11th, the Southeast Dance Team performed a dance showcase here in the Southeast Auditorium, where they performed all of their dances along with some individual dances this year. For all you card players out there, a new shop just opened up, run by our very own Southeast teacher, Mr. SCHWEER. Reporter Juan Carrillo takes us inside the Pink Elephant.
You may know Jonathan SCHWEER as a math teacher here at Southeast, but he also has a second job. SCHWEER recently opened his own gaming store, the Pink Elephant.
It's an idea I've kind of always had, but recently a lot of the game stores in town started doing bad business practices, and so I started looking around at other shops to play games in and host events, and then I just decided with my wife, I was like, why don't we just start our own shop? Because we have a lot of money saved up, it's something we can do, so we talked about it and decided let's just do it.
SCHWEER opened his store in November of last year.
We sell Magic the Gathering, we sell Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon, Dragon Ball Super, Digimon just came out about a month ago, so it's a new game. My Hero Academia card game is releasing in May, and so we pre-ordered pretty heavily for that. And then we also have Dungeons and Dragons, and then some Star Wars Legion, which is like miniature battle game.
There is plenty of difficulties in teaching and running a business. One of the main difficulties is time. You can't be in both places at the same time.
But luckily for this business, a lot of times people are coming to buy games at 5 o'clock at night. So it's pretty easy for me to teach during the day, and then when school's out at 3:30, come down here. Some days when it's not very busy, I'll bring my school laptop and I'll do grading from the shop here. And other days when it's super busy, I can still, after we're done, get some grading done and plan lesson planning. But it really helps the fact that this is kind of a night job and teaching's a day job.
And of course, we had to ask him, what's up with the name?
Originally, we were going to call it the Break Room, but my wife she wasn't too excited about that. So we talked about some different names, like we were going to call it Rage Quit. I was like, well, I love the color pink, and my wife, in her culture, elephants are like a sacred animal. And I was thinking something that people would hear and remember, and I thought, well, what about Pink Elephant? That's something that's unique to the business, and you hear it and people think, oh yeah, something that connects to us.
SCHWEER says he's found some ways to use his information from his store in the classroom, helping students see some real-world math applications. If you're interested in games, this is a place you'll want to be. For BTV, I'm reporter Juan Carrillo.
It's nice to see Southeast teachers doing something other than assigning homework. And now here's this episode's sports updates. Hello
Hello, Southeast Buffaloes. I am Catherine Alfaro, your sports anchor. Spring sports are in full swing. Let's start off with track.
Evan Boudreau got first place on the steeplechase, and the men's team got second place on the 400-meter relay and first place on the 800-meter relay. Alonte Hackney Cooper got first place women's 400-meter relay. Southeast took fifth place overall in both men and women's. Overall, it was a very successful first ever track meet at our new school.
We're very excited to be the first to host this track meet.
I actually enjoy it a lot because, we never really had a meet here, and this is our first time having a meet, so it's exciting.
There are many advantages to hosting meets at our own field.
The dynamic of this is important. I think having a home, a place to actually have events for sporting events such as the track meet that you see, as well as football, I think it's going to bring a camaraderie of just a good feel. We're not traveling anymore to go to a location. We finally have something that's in our backyard.
It's definitely easier to have home track meets because it's easier for you to prepare, and you're just here already and you don't have to pack loads of things.
I don't want to go travel to someone else's field thinking that, it's our field. Now we have our own field to compete on.
Having meets here also helps out with our team's performance.
This definitely gives us an advantage because it definitely pushes you, and because to know that you have an actual crowd here from Southeast.
Advantages, again, we know everything. We know where everything is at. We've been practicing here, curbs, every lane. So, and advantages, basically we just know everything.
A lot of our staff and students are very happy and excited for possible future events and activities. We look forward to hosting more events in the future, and we encourage you to come to our future events and support our teams.
Recently, our girls soccer team beat South in the Titan Classic tournament. This team has been beating our team for around 3 years. This is an amazing improvement, and the team is looking forward to improving even more. Baseball and softball have had a rough start this year, but they are looking forward to improving their skills and teamwork. Baseball's record is 1-9, softball's record is 0-10. Tennis also had a rough start this year, having to reschedule several matches, but they look forward to a successful season and hope they can continue improving. Our boys golf team completed their second tournament at Sierra Hills. These three seniors, Hendrix Levitt, Ricky Ochoa, and Charles Hamel, all scored their personal best, and they look forward to keep scoring higher. Our girls swimming team swam against Bishop Carroll and West High School. Our team beat both high schools. They look forward to more meets and improving their skills. We'll have a video of them next episode. That's all we have for now, Buffs. Back to you, Savannah.
That's it, Buffs. Tune in next time for the last episode of the year, and the last episode as me as your anchor. Bye!